I think you are already co-host. I need to make Alex co-host, right? Yep, done.
We'll do countdown.
Hello, hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you all for joining. We'll wait for exactly 1 minute more before we get started. In the meantime, I'll invite everyone to switch on their videos and mute themselves. It'll be great to see some faces on camera while we spend the next 45 minutes together. Hi, good evening. We have a few more people who've joined in. We'll get started right about now. It'll be great in the meantime if everyone can switch on their video and mute themselves. Great to see that we have over 80 participants right now to engage with us and also interact with Haider over the next 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Pradeep. It'll be great if you can mute yourself and switch on camera alone. Okay, I'd like to welcome all of you to the fourth project webinar that we're hosting. This is part of our series to spread some more awareness about the fellowship and also give you some insights into the incredible work that the fellows are doing as part of the program right now. I'm Anjali. I'm currently program manager in the Bhumi Fellowship. I joined as a Bhumi Fellow in 2020 and stayed on full time, currently managing a group of fellows. We'll be in conversation with Haider, whom we will hear from very shortly. And while you're all joining, it'll be great if we can all mute ourselves and switch on videos because we have some interacting spaces planned and it'll be fun if we can actually see a lot more people. Yeah, to begin with, I'd like to give you a really short overview about the Bhumi Fellowship itself. The Bhumi Fellowship, it comes under the education program of Bhumi. This was started in 2020 and it's a 2-year full-time paid program where a lot of youngsters like yourself, like me, like Haider, we can work with all the stakeholders of a school system to bring a holistic transformation in the school. We operate majorly in Tamil Nadu, Chennai right now, where we are working with government schools, aided schools, and low-income private schools. But we encourage applications from all over India. Diversity is something we aspire for, and we encourage also. As you move ahead, please feel free to put down any questions that you have for Haider on the chat. We will address them towards the end. And I'd like to request all of you to ask questions about Haider's project, his journey as a fellow, because we are in conversation for him. We will address application related queries towards the end. Um, Great. We can go ahead. Alex will be helping me with the presentation. So Alex, if you could change slides. This is something we have as a culture, right? We always start with norms to set expectations at the beginning of any space. The first one, as you can all see, is of course to have videos on as far as possible. I can see some of you, Hasina Banu, Binil, Prince, Joseph. Thank you all so much, Kishore, for switching on videos. It'd be great if the others can also come on video. The second thing is, of course, to stay on mute. With such a big crowd, it'll be great if we can all mute ourselves so we can listen better and get some insights from what Haider is sharing. And the last one is, of course, similar to a classroom. We all raise our hands if we want to speak or ask a question. You have the reaction, of course. It doesn't need to be as simple as raising your hand, but whatever works for you, right? All right, we'll move on and look at the agenda for today. We started with an overview of the Bhumi Fellowship, which we just went through. We'll begin with an activity, something that's inspired from Haider's project. And then, of course, we'll learn a little bit more about Haider, his journey, and the project itself. And we'll have a lot of time for Q&A, and we'll close out post that. Before we move on to our check-in activity, Haider, do you want to share a few lines about yourself, a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you're currently doing?
Hello everyone, good evening. Hope you had a great day so far. So my name is Haider. I am currently a Bhumi Fellow, cohort 2022. So prior to the fellowship, I was working as an auditor. I have a bachelor's in accounting and finance. I've grown up in Chennai mostly. So no relevance to the social sector whatsoever. But I always had this, yearning to make an impact. I wanted to make an impact. And Bhumi Fellowship, like one of the calls like this, is where I got an opportunity to learn about what Bhumi Fellowship is. And I thought I would be a great fit to it. And that's why I chose fellowship and that's why I've come to this journey. So that's it about myself. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Haider. I think it's also interesting that you started off in something very different from the social sector. And I think that'll be inspiring for a lot of people on call as well, especially those who are looking to make a career switch. More on that in a very short period of time. We will begin with a small check-in. Now we have 130 people on call apart from ourselves. And we always like to have some engagement where everyone can participate. So if we could go to the next slide. This is something very fun that we are calling Spot the Color. The activity itself is very simple. As facilitator, I will say some colors and each of you will get 10 seconds to find an object with the color that is shared. Simple, right? Can everyone drop a reaction or a yes in the chat if you understood this? Okay, great. I see a lot of thumbs up. I see some yeses also. Great. So we'll start with something simple. I'm pretty sure all of us have access to something around us. You have exactly 10 seconds starting now to find something black in color. 3, 2, 1, go. And Haider, you can count us down. Then 9, 8, 7,
So
6,
5, 4, 3, 2,
2,
1,
1,
0.
go. Okay. Do we have anyone on camera showing us anything black? Okay. No, but I see a lot of hair. Somebody saying Bhumi, interesting. Where are you seeing the black in Bhumi? Facial, bag, okay. Eyelash, dark. The person who said dark, I'm not sure what you saw, but it'll be curious. I'm really interested to know. Maybe you can share it on chat also.
Bhumi logo. The color is
Bhumi
black.
logo. Okay,
Yes.
great. On the slide. Great observation, Alka. Thank you for sharing. Okay, round 2. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. And you have 10 seconds to find something that is white in color. And we'll count it off again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
5, 4,
4. I see a
3,
charger,
2,
laptop,
1,
milk.
0.
Great. Teeth,
Mouse pointer.
paper, milk, waterfall. I'm not sure if you have a waterfall, Sujita. I'm curious to know where you are attending this meeting from, if you can see a waterfall in front of you right now. Wall, mouse pointer, chair. Bhumi logo back. A lot of smart people on call pointing out things from the presentation today. Really cool. Okay, we'll do one last round and then we'll pause. You have exactly 10 seconds to find something that is red in color. And we'll count you off again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. Amazing. A lot of responses for red.
Ma'am, leave button in Zoom meeting. In Zoom meeting.
Yes,
Record button.
definitely. The leave button, please don't use it until the end of the call. Thank you a lot. It'll be appreciated if you can stay until the end because we have some fun things planned. My earphones, yes, thank you. Nice observation skills. The record button. Yes, Pradeep, would you like to share? Okay. I'm going to move on in the interest of time. Just for us to engage in a quick reflection, first of all, thank you all so much for sharing, right? That was fun and it was great to see so much of engagement on chat. Alex, if you could go to the next slide. It'll be great if we can hear how all of you are feeling right now. You can drop in one line or a word on chat. And if you could also reflect and think about your last experience playing a game, right? How did that feel like? Haider, maybe you could also unmute and share. Sridevi, I'd like to ask you to share on chat, maybe, so we can hear from Haider in the meantime.
I'm feeling really excited, because this is one of the games from my project. It's from my handbook, so it's so amazing to see a lot of you engage. A lot of you had so many different things that you brought: bag, eyelash, bottles, so many different things. Yet the color was same, right? So it was so wonderful to see all those reactions. Last time I played a game, I think this is the game that I played, and before this, of course, with my children, in different sessions of my project. More on it later. Thanks.
Thank you, Haider. See a lot of relaxed, enjoyable, exciting, feels like mind storming. Okay. Interesting, right? Thank you all for participating. And I'm looking forward to the same level, if not higher level of engagement through the call. Your participation gives us also a lot of energy. With that, we'll move into the main purpose of today's calls itself to learn a little bit more about Haider's project and the work that he's done. Uh, as he rightly shared, this is one of the activities from his handbook, which he's currently piloting in his school. What I'm curious to know is, Haider, what is your problem statement and why did you choose to work on this?
Uh, if I had to Now, if I have to tell you the problem statement and why you read the genesis of my whole project and these things, I would have to go back to my year one. As most of you may know and are aware, Bhumi Fellowship is a 2-year program, right? So you have to come along with me in my year one. That's where the genesis of the project lies. So in year one, what I was doing is we used to have these morning meetings where we asked children how they are feeling, how their day has been so far now, or how did they feel last day while they went back home, just to get a feeling check of how the child is feeling when they are coming in school. Because our children come from vulnerable communities and everyone has different feelings. Right now, many of you, when you join the call, you must have also had very different and varied days, right? You must all have a different mood. It always feels good and acknowledged, right? When you ask them, how did you feel? How are you feeling right now? So, in part of morning meeting, I asked my children one day, how are you feeling? There was this one child who hadn't shown up to school for the last 4 days, right? And he wasn't also feeling pretty good. He was pretty gloomy and was secluded in a corner, was crouching down and with his head between his knees. I asked him, what's up? How are you feeling? And I see that you haven't been doing so great, right? And you have missed out school. I'm very curious to know what happened. And what uh, he told me was, I will be telling this in Tamil and also translating it. He told me, "Ye mama hai vetitanga," which translates to they hacked my uncle, they killed my uncle, right? Uh, that's the kind of reaction I wasn't expecting that, normal school day, and this is not something that I was expecting, and I was taken aback. A child so young has to witness such violence, such inhuman violence. I don't get it. Why should there ever be a reason for this? I was really worried and concerned, and I wanted to find out more. And then I asked the relatives, I asked the teachers. What I found out was his uncle was nearly 20 years old. He was going to college. He had some dispute with his friends. And because of this dispute, somehow it led to a lot of escalations and it led to a life being, wasted. Just imagine a 20-year-old youth, right? So much potential for the country, is going to college, is getting great grades. a sort of near misunderstanding led to us losing a life, right? Losing so much potential. And that is the reason I thought and I really felt that I needed to do something. I needed to make a change, right? That is the genesis of project. And then I had a lot of reflection to ask what is that is needed to make this change in society? What is it that is needed? And something that came up to me was life skills. The whole reason it happened was there was some miscommunication, there was a conflict. And I don't see violence being a way to resolve conflict. What can you do to resolve conflict? What I stumbled upon was life skills, right? Basic life skills recommended. And that's the genesis of my project of how I came about it. How can I teach life skills to students? How can I create responsible adults and citizens? So this was, yeah, the genesis of my project.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Haider. First of all, acknowledging that that is a pretty tough experience for a child to go through. Um, and in a lot of vulnerable communities, this is the reality for many children in the world. Um, also, want to understand how did this idea for games evolve out of this idea, right? If you could talk about if you could talk about your current approach to the project and how has the project evolved from this initial thought that you had. I will try to be louder, and Haider, if you could also speak into the mic because I think there are some audio issues for both of us.
Yeah, just want to acknowledge, if you're able to hear me, right, please drop a quick thumbs up and right, just want to make sure before we proceed further, if you're able to hear me, can I see thumbs up? Okay, cool. Thank you so
You
much,
are
Manasa.
audible now. You can go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. So the question was what evolved, right? What has transpired from this idea of a project of life skills? Currently, the model is uh, when it started off, I was thinking, how do you inculcate life skills? Life skills like
Hello.
collaboration.
Hello, sir. Good evening. I think, sir, there is some technical glitch.
Yeah. I think Haider, you want to try speaking again? Thank you, Abig, for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah, am I audible now? Is it better?
Yes.
Yes, no.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry for the issues. I think if
That's okay.
some of you are facing some issues, please try joining in again. Yeah. So to start off, how did it come about? Initially, I thought, where can we learn life skills? And right now it's the World Cup season, right? Cricket is going on. Sports is the great uniter, right? You can learn life skills from sports very easily. That was my initial thought. Through sports, I'll be teaching life skills. One thing that some of the challenges that I came across when using sports as a life skill was the lack of ground specifically, right? Getting permission. So a lot of dependency. How can we get a ground or what kind of place do we look at? Getting permissions. Right now, the project is at a stage where I wanted to make it accessible to all the schools across fellowship and India. And something that I came up with was a more restricted model where it can be replicated in different classrooms in small spaces. So that's how the project has evolved up until now.
Fair. Thank you for sharing, Haider. So I'm just going to rephrase and explain again for some of them who could not hear very well. Haider was talking about how he wanted to make something that's scalable and can be taken to other fellowship schools also. And he wanted to create something accessible essentially. Currently, that's where he's at. And there's many activities planned in this. I apologize for the noise in the background. Haider, if it would possible for you to speak into the mic a little bit more, because I think there's some break in the audio. We were talking about activities. So do you want to talk about some of the activities that you have planned in the project? And Alex, you can go to the next slides.
So I'm going to speak a little bit louder, right? I'm going to be more louder than normal. For some of you who are hearing it very well, reduce your volume, and some of you who are not able to, I hope this helps you, right? I'm going to be a little extra loud. Uh, what is my current approach to project and how has it evolved? Some of the activities also you mentioned, right? One of the activities that you actually played right now, spot the color. is part of my curriculum. It's part of the handbook that I'm handing out. So we give students, you learn about diversity and differences. Currently, imagine we all could spot different colors. Some of you were so, we could spot color with the logo, with so many. However, we all see colors, but we see it so differently, right? Some of you could see it right through the logo. You all have different perspectives. It shows the diversity we all have. So that is one of the activities. One of the activities that I fondly remember, and it is on the page right now. Right, you can see me wearing different shoe. We always tell the skill of empathy is putting yourself in other people's shoe. I made it literally. You actually are in a circle. You all remove your shoes, go back, and move again, and put on someone else's shoe. So actually feel like how it is to like wearing someone else's shoe. These are some few activities that have been going through to inculcate these essential life skills like empathy, self-awareness, conflict resolution, and responsible decision making. This is of the activities part. However, more on how it has evolved, I learned that to make a sustainable change, I would need to train someone else, right? And that's why I chose a facilitator-led model for my project.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, Haider. A little bit more about the facilitator model, but before that, maybe we can open up some interaction for the audience also. One of the things Haider also mentioned was in terms of challenge, right? In terms of access. As in cricket, everyone needs a ground to play on, essentially. According to you, how many schools in India have access to a playground? It'll be great to hear some responses on chat. How many do you think, how many percentage of schools do you think have access to a playground? Okay, I see a 60% on chat. 83, 70. Okay, I'll wait for 30 more seconds for some responses to come in. 30, okay, we have a wide range from 30 to 83 to 75, 70.
73.
Okay, 73. Yeah, some of you are actually quite close. So to reveal the answer to you, currently in India, it might be a bit small for you to see, but there's about 73% schools that have access to a playground. But the reality is also that some of these are in a school complex, which means it might be an open ground and only the older children have access to it. It might also mean that there is a ground, but it's not being used right now. So a lot of schools might have access, but whether it's being used and primary school children are actually getting access to it is a question for us, right? Now, Haider mentioned something very interesting about a facilitator-led model. Now, what is this facilitator-led model, Haider? And how does this tie in with the idea of sustainability?
So I had a change of earphones. I hope it's clear right now. Am I audible? Yeah. So what? Thank you so much, Manoj, for replying. So what does the facilitator-led model mean, right? Facilitator-led model and why I think Anjali mentioned the word sustainability. Fellowship is a 2-year journey. Post 2 years, you go ahead again in your social journey. So in this 2 years, what impact are you creating and how sustainable it is going to be? For my project, I want all the children in my community to have life skills. How do I inculcate it? As long as I am there, I could do it. But what happens once if I go? This what if was really bothering me. And then I came up with a discussion within the team that it should be a facilitator-led model. What essentially the word facilitator-led model means is you give your training, your handbook. So these life skills have been divided into small handbooks for each term, term 1, 2, and 3. These handbooks are given to facilitators. They are given an orientation on how to go about in conducting these sessions. The facilitator could be anyone. For me and this my school's context, the picture that you see, right, these are the wonderful parents of my community. They have so much more potential. All you have to do is look around, right? There are people brimming with potential. And also, fellowship is a leadership journey. A true leader is someone who empowers others to their position. If I can do it, so do parents can. I believe that's why I asked the parents in my community who were very interested in their child's development. I asked them if they would be willing to take this model forward. And that's how the idea of facilitator led model came about to be, dividing it into handbooks and giving the facilitators here, in this case, parents of the community, orientation. Yeah, that's about the facilitator model.
Great. That's really interesting. And that also brings about a sense of ownership in the community itself. And I see that this will probably stay on even after you leave the fellowship, right? And that's what we are all aspiring for in terms of solutions that can last even after we kind of step back, building leadership in others. A lot of this is rooted in the future, right? And this is something I want to ask you about. What is your long term vision for children itself? Of course, the project in the short term for them to evolve, develop these life skills. But if you want to elaborate a little bit more and talk about your long term vision for children.
Yeah, while vision is a very large word, right? What is my vision? One thing that I wanted to say about facilitator-led model is also something that inspiring and was visionary for me that I saw was one of the parents who were my parent champions. They took back this session back to their community. That is so inspiring. They learned something and they are taking it back to their community because they feel it is fruitful. Now coming back to the question on the screen, right? What is my vision for the children or for the future? I want my children to be responsible citizens who have essential life skills, right? A country like India thrives on diversity and differences. Currently, if you look at social media or any platform, there are a lot of differences and dissonances. I feel a place, a society where discussion and debate thrives and not destruction and devastation. That would be my vision, right? To empower responsible citizens. The word I use very cognizantly, responsible citizen, because we all currently are part of community. Humans are not individual beings, right? We are social animals. We are born into a country, we are born into a community. The school you went to, the college you go through, the work you do, right? Currently in this call, we are all part of the call, so we all have to look out for each other. My vision is to create those responsible citizens who are always looking out for each other, who have place for debate and discussions, right? And not destruction. That would be my long term vision. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Haider. I see this as something quite ambitious but also achievable, essentially. It's quite inspiring for me personally because responsibility is something I hold on to as well. And while we try to empower children to become responsible, communities to become responsible, for us also to grow in the process and see how we evolve with time while we enable them, because as people in the social sector working with children, we have a lot of responsibility also. Something that excites me is also that's a very shared kind of responsibility, which is why we're also having this call and we have a lot of people here. And it'll be great to have all of you, right, together working on this, which is quite ambitious again, but something we're really looking forward to. And in that spirit, I'll open up for questions. Already seeing some responses on chat about success, building self confidence. This is quite exciting. So we'll pause now. You can share your responses on questions on chat, or you can raise your hand and ask questions while unmuting yourself also.
Ma'am, I have question.
Yes, Alka.
Ma'am, how can I interact with the students who मतलब जिनकी language Tamil है and we don't know Tamil? That's the
Great.
biggest issue, ma'am.
Yeah, great question, Alka. Where are you from?
Ma'am, I'm from Punjab, currently residing in Chandigarh.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Haider, would you like to take that?
Yes.
Hey Alka, thank you so much for your question. First of all, I also struggled with language as a barrier. My Tamil is not very proficient, right? I speak broken Tamil, and but I do have co-fellows who do not speak a word of Tamil when they join fellowship. So I would speak perhaps on their behalf, or the experiences that I have seen is children are innately curious, right? Interaction with them, if you speak English, they will try to learn your language, they'll try to adopt to you. and you speak more than just with your words, your body language, your gestures. I don't see that as a barrier or an inhibitor. Rather, I see it as a great advantage, because if you don't speak their local language, they have to learn English. So the way they learn English is much more quicker, right? And you will be able to achieve your goals faster. And this is something we have seen in some of our schools. So yeah, that's my response to your question. I hope it clarifies.
Hanji, thank you, sir.
We have another question on chat by Farhab. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Farhab is asking, what are the challenges you faced in your fellowship journey?
Challenges. So there have been quite a few. However, I am not someone who backs from a good challenge, right? I took fellowship not because it's easy, because it's hard. That's what humanity is, right? We do things not because it's easy, but because it's hard. We strive for greatness. So, with regard to fellowship challenges in year one, like I told you already, I had no experience in teaching, no experience in social work. The whole circumstances, the community, the work, all of it was very challenging for me. Getting the classroom culture right, getting the children to listen to me was very challenging. However, over the time with discussion with the staff, with the team itself, I got a lot of inputs on how can you set culture, how can get a few tactics like attention grabbers and all sort of things. You can just Google on how to get children's attention back to the class. All this while ensuring they get sufficient knowledge as well, right, based on subject matter. So it was quite challenging, but did overcome with great team of people.
Yeah. Thank you,
Ma'am,
Haider. Yeah,
one more
just
question, please. Could you please?
yes, please go ahead, Sridevi.
I'm little bit very poor in English, but I know Tamil very well. It's very fruitful to to teach in Tamil, ma'am, to the students or as a volunteer.
Yeah, Haider, do you want to take this and I'll add on? That's a pretty great question, because the other flip side might be, okay, I know Tamil, but my English is not so good. And what do I do in that situation? Haider?
Uh, I think Sridevi also mentioned along the lines, her Tamil, her English wasn't so great. So I think Sridevi, it's a journey along with your children, right? Uh, I definitely don't again see that as a challenge. So flip side of it, when you know their mother tongue and when you know their language, they will be able to communicate their feelings way easily to you, right? Like I told you an instance where the child told me, "Yeah, mama, this is something that comes in Tamil very naturally." So the emotional connection you make with the children at the beginning itself is way high. And I feel the team will give you enough resources to improve yourself in your pedagogical skills. Also, I believe it takes a lot of self-confidence and you will be able to do great job in justice to your children, their language. Anjali, if you would like to add on anything.
Pretty
Okay.
much. I
And
also encourage you, Sridevi, just to add on.
another
If,
question, ma'am.
yeah, if I can complete my thought, Sridevi,
Okay.
I encourage everyone who's applying for the fellowship, if you feel that you need to work on your English, to start today. You don't need to be perfect when you join. It's just that when you join the fellowship, you will be able to tell your children about how you learned English and what helped you. And that will be more inspiring for them than anything else, right? Because, of course, it's easy to communicate in Tamil. My Tamil is not so great, but even I was guilty of it once in a while. I would speak in more Tamil and less English. But then I realized I was hindering their development. Because to learn a language, you need to listen to the language, you need to speak in the language, you need to write in the language. So I encourage you to start working on it today itself. And then, of course, like Haider said, the team is happy to help you once you join.
Okay, ma'am. Another
And
question is
Sridevi, I will encourage you to put your question on chat so we can take some of the other questions by the other participants also. I hope that's okay.
okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. I see something interesting on chat in terms of how are you handling different students? Students are from different places and they're holding different characters. I would like to expand this question also in terms of Haider. How have you dealt with the different kinds of stakeholders also that you're working with? Because, of course, students have a lot of diversity and they're all different. That applies for our teachers, parents, and HMs also. How have you interacted with all these different groups of people? What has helped you?
I think one of my answer was going to be if students are different, so are adults, right? Adults don't come instantly. They are students who become adults. So I think Anjali covered. So similar to how do you handle diversity and tying it back to life skills, right? To diversity is not going to be an inhibitor in your classroom, in our country, in our parliament also. Diversity is something you are going to thrive on. And how do you bring about it, or how do you engage with someone whoever has different perspective? One thing that really helped me is setting an intent of me being there. What is my intent? And more of active listening from what I can do, what are my skills that I can help them with, or what can we do cross learning. You have a lot to learn from them. Also, there will be some strengths that you will be bringing in, right? How can your strength be leveraged? And all of this ties back to a common visioning. We all have vision, right? And the children are at center of it with different stakeholders, with parents, teachers, HM. What are all the three of us striving to do? We are striving to create a better tomorrow for our children today. How do we go about it? Again and again reiterating the vision, the purpose of why we are here and what we do. That has greatly helped me in, bridging gaps. If someone has a X way to do deal with things and someone has a Y, why can't we combine both and create a Z way? Those are some of the things. But what really helps again is bringing back the larger picture, the vision of why we are and what we are doing. And it mostly is centered around children for me. And that has been a great learning and best practice that I follow.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Haider. We have Amulya who's raised her hand. Amulya.
Yeah, hello, good evening. Can you hear me properly?
Yes, yes, you are audible.
Yeah, actually, I'm coming from Assam, so from the northeastern of India. So my English will be like from the northeastern version. So it's make any problem to the student. So although I speak English, but I'm not really speak perfectly, although, but my version is northeastern. So it's make any problem or any challenges for the student how to overcome from this type of problems. So
Yeah,
that's my question.
thank you for sharing, Amulya. First of all, you speak very well, wanting to share that. Similar to what we responded earlier, also, you can, of course, work on your English starting now. But also come to Chennai, you will be surprised at how many children are there from the north and from the northeast currently. The numbers are just going up in our classrooms. I feel like your advantage will also be that you will be able to connect with those children while others who are here right now might not be able to, right? Um, like we said earlier, English doesn't need to be perfect. If you can just start working on it a little from today, I'm sure you'll be in a much better place and feeling more confident. And we are also happy to support you.
Ma'am,
Thank you so much.
excuse
Yes,
me. Hanji
I'll
ma'am, can we ask the questions about applications or not?
I'd encourage you to ask all questions about application on chat. We have Manasa, who is responding to all application-related queries here. Alex is also supporting. Would direct you to the chat box. I see something by Nitish, and this connects with what you shared at the beginning also, Haider. How comfortable are children with you, and what kind of emotions do they share with you, right? And this is also tied in with what you shared about a child opening up, and that was a trigger for you to start your project itself. So how is it that you have created this safe space, and what has enabled them to share with you?
I was just thinking, right, what has enabled me to create a safe space, right? One would definitely be treating them with dignity. We often treat children as something inferior to us, right? Oh, they are children, they won't know. But treating them with same dignity that we treat everybody with the adults, right? We usually don't look that way at children. We think of them someone who doesn't know better for themselves. That was a perspective shift I had after fellowship, like I had during the fellowship when I joined the fellowship, right? Treating the child with dignity, asking them, what would they do? What would they like? So, why do they open up to me? Is because I treat them with respect and dignity. They know very well that a classroom, if it's noisy, nobody can, it doesn't benefit the teacher or the children because they can't put their points across, and I also won't be able to. So we have some small things like called classroom agreement. You have agreements with each other, right? Like some contract, and they understand these terms. Like you promise, you are doing a promise with basically someone. So we do classroom agreements. You treat them like an adult. You tell them, hey, this is an agreement. One is we sit smartly, or we pay full attention to the class. Paying attention means what? Sitting upright, listening attentively and actively. And then they sign in these agreements, right? The whole class does, and it's for the class to see. Then, if ever the class is not in control, or if they ever feel, we go back to. So that's how a first initial step of connection starts. They understand, okay, this is a person who acknowledges my opinion. This is the person who gives me dignity and will not cause me any harm, physical or emotional. And this is not only a teacher, but a friend, a guide, and a mentor, right? And that's how they open up. Children are very smart. They are very, very emotionally intelligent, perhaps more than adults also, right? The way you behave, the way you walk, the way you present yourself, they get all these cues based on which they would open up to you. Yeah.
And adding on to that, we have a dedicated team for social and emotional learning. Social and emotional learning is actually quite integral to what we are currently doing, both for the team, for the fellows, for our stakeholders, everyone, right?
Yeah. Hello.
Yes, Abhik.
Yeah, hello, ma'am. Good evening. Yeah,
Good evening.
actually, yeah, I'm from West Bengal right now. And I'm pursuing my master's in journalism and mass communication from Vishwabharati University right now. So, like, what I have understood that the this is all about the process of teaching, right? Like how we guide a child, or how we mentoring children to overcome some social norms, or like like how to overcome some social obstacles. So this is all about this. And this, I think this isn't all about language, right, ma'am?
Are you clarifying, Abhik? Yes, it is not about
I'm sa-
language.
I'm saying that this philosophy is all about like how we teach or how we guide a child, how can he or she overcome some social problems, or how he or she can go through, or like go through some problems. So this is all about this, right, ma'am?
Yeah. So, yes, you are right. This is one part of the fellowship. Our model is a whole school transformation model where classroom teaching is one of the main aspects. Apart from this, fellows work closely with teachers, parents, like Haider was sharing earlier, and also with the HMs, which is the school leaders, right? Apart from that, Bhumi also works actively to upgrade the infrastructure of the school so that schools are fully equipped with toilets, drinking water, classrooms. Depends on the need of the school. Every school has its own kind of unique context. And in our fellowship, the fellows go on this 2-year journey to improve the school as a whole, with teaching being one aspect of it. Does that
Oh,
answer your question, Avik?
yeah, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, ma'am.
Yes. We will take one last question before we close out. I see some interesting ones on chat. Maybe we can. Okay, I will take one from chat and then we'll close out with the one from Prince here. I think Shivranjani has said that she's done her BBA. I see somebody else who said they've done a BBA and they're wondering if they should join the fellowship based on degree or knowledge. Haider, any thoughts on that?
Uh, hey, Shivaranjini. I did accounting and finance, right? And then worked as an auditor. Not really relevant to the job I am currently doing. So, degree is not going to be your barrier to enter fellowship. I can tell that with full confidence. Yeah, that is something, rest assured, it won't be an inhibitor. And the other things that Anjali told, right? Other skills and everything. I think it's your need to make impact, right? How much are you willing to do? I think that would be much greater extent.
Yes. I did my architecture, nothing to do with uh, education or development sector, but here I am. Quickly adding on to somebody who's asked about post fellowship opportunities, we have a dedicated segment in the fellowship where we spend a lot of time First of all, giving exposure to other organizations in the social and education sector. This happens through the 2 years, but apart from that, we also have conversations with our fellows to understand what they want to pursue, and then, of course, connect them with relevant organizations or people in the sector. Uh, Apart from that, there are fellows who are starting off their own projects. Two fellows from the 2021 cohort, for example, they have joined Bhumi, and they are currently launching a curriculum on wellness and safety. This is being piloted across multiple schools right now. And I guess I would be an example too. I did my fellowship and I joined Bhumi. I'm currently managing fellows. So lots of opportunities post fellowship within Bhumi, within other organizations in the social sector, or you can even start something on your own, and we will happily support you in the process. But yes, please do apply and come join us, and then of course we can discuss about post fellowship. Right, Prince, over to you for the last question. After which we will close out.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I am from Kerala. I stand at the end of my BBA degree course. My question is this: what are the various steps or techniques that have used to sharpen the skills of students, or what are the steps taken to make the students more confident?
Either.
I would want to get more clarity. What skills are we looking at when you tell sharpening skills, right? I think if you can tell me what skills specifically. I will just pick up with one strand for now. You told confidence, right? How do you enable confidence? Uh, how do you enable confidence in adults? Providing them opportunities, right? Telling the child that they are able to do it or they will be able to do it. Providing that assurance and also the necessary training each step of the way. We do conduct, if there is an oral recitation the child is interested in or some other activity, provide opportunity for the child. That is one way to instill confidence in a child, providing them more opportunities and helping them in their journey. One way. I hope this answers your question.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much, friends.
Sir, I have a question. Can I?
We are going to pause here. Really sorry. We are at time. Something we're striving to do is be more punctual with our start and end times. I'm not sure who this is. I'd encourage you to
Actually,
keep.
this question is, I guess this question is important for everyone, I guess.
I'd still request you to put it on chat while we
Okay.
close out, just in the interest of time. Thank you so much. I hope you understand.
Okay.
We will close out now. First of all, thank you all so much for participating. While we get the one last question on chat, I'd also encourage everyone to share how they're feeling now and maybe one thing they have learned from the last 45 minutes or something that they're excited by. Haider, maybe you can also share how you're currently feeling and if you have a message that you would like to share with everyone here.
I am feeling, really energized. I was honestly pretty nervous before this webinar, but looking at the quality of your questions, your curiosity, and your interest in this, like it really energizes me. Like to look at so many 150 change makers, it really is energizing me. A message for you would be a message of hope. We can't, not one person can make a change, right? We need all of you in this call to make change. So my message is a message of hope of, I hope all of you are trying and striving to make change in society and making the earth a better place, right? That is a message of hope that I would like to leave you all with. And so happy to be here, part of this call. Thank you so much, Anjali.
Thank you so much, Haider. It was great hearing your story from a very different perspective, I'd say. As for next steps, which some of you have been asking, we are currently in the process of recruiting fellows for our next cohort, which is in 2024. You can apply on the link that is being shared on chat. Manasa, if you could share it on chat. Yes, the next deadline is December 24th. And the link is there, as you can see. And for some of you who are yet to get a response, be assured the team will get back to you in the next few days. In the meantime, you can also connect with us on our social media handles or reach out to us over email for any questions that you might have. All of us are still accessible. If you feel like you would like to have a conversation with us at any time, please feel free to get in touch. More than happy to connect with you and see how you can be part of the cause and the team as well. Thank you all so much. Have a great day. We'll meet again next time with another interesting webinar like this. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.